Welcome to Fortune Cookies Tarot. I'm Annabelle. I'm a tarot practitioner for over 35 years. In this video, we're going to do some predictions for RFK Jr. We talked about him and maybe the friction with him and Cheryl Hines, his wife, yesterday. Today, we're going to make it nicey nice, and we're going to talk about some predictions, things he should look out for, things maybe that are going to go in his favor, and also his yellow brick road for ultimate success. So we'll be right back. Hi, Tarot Maniacs. So let's get talking about RFK Jr. We're just going to recap a little bit for the new subs. There's a lot of new subs. Hi, guys. I see you all out there. Thanks so much for being here. I was an RFK Jr. fan when he was running for president. I really was a fan of his. I liked what he was saying. I felt that he really was leaning into the libertarian views that I have. Those of you that don't quite understand what libertarians are, we don't want a lot of social programs. We really want to help altruistically, like boots on the ground, like locally. Give us the option to do it. Don't force us to do it. We like a lot of freedom. We think taxation is theft. I do think taxation is theft. But we know we really are. That's kind of just a very broad brush version of it. Often I am confused as a conservative. I do come from a fairly conservative family, majority conservative family. And often I am sometimes called a Republican. And I'm like, well, I'm not really a Republican. So try again. I've been accused of a lot of different things. So, for the record, voted for Clinton. First time, voted for Bill Clinton, not Hillary. I voted for Bill. And I thought that he did a fairly good job, notwithstanding any of the drama on the side. I did think that Bill Clinton was really that lean in to the Kennedy kind of panache that the Riz had, the Kennedy Riz that people were looking for, that return to Camelot. And I think they did, the Democratic Party, I think for a bit, did try to make that happen with Joe Biden. I think they really were kind of, instead of, he was an old white man, he was in the line of succession to the Camelot of Kennedy Camelot. So it was a swing and a miss. It didn't really work. So they're going to keep trying that. Policy speaking, Kennedy, JFK, is much more closer. He's much further away from the Democratic Party now. The Democratic Party is doing some crazy things. The fact that John Fetterman is like the sober voice in the room is a little wild. So, but nonetheless, I don't want to go too far afield. So let's see some predictions for RFK Jr. I mean, a couple of things I don't like about him. I don't like that he got Michael Skakel out of jail. I talked about that in the last video. I think some of his views are a bit radical in terms of health and in terms of, vaccination, but he's clarified that and said that he's really for choice for parents and families to make decisions about their health. I am someone who thinks that euthanasia is a great idea. If you have some health issue, and I'm showing my libertarian side here. If you have a health issue that's going to get excessively challenging as you get old, as you get on with it, I do think that you should have the option to have a medically assisted, and that way you can kind of plan I hate to say plan your day around it, but you can kind of plan all your meetings with your family and your friends and say goodbye to your loved ones. You can kind of manage that rather than, winding up completely incapacitated in some kind of nursing care. It does make a lot of sense to me. That some other people may not agree with that, but it is what it is. So I do think that RFK Jr. is going to lean more into that, into more freedom of care for your healthcare. So I think that is very interesting. Let's take a look at what's going on with him. So before I bring up the card view, please like, share, and subscribe. If you're new to the channel, let me know some of the stuff you want me to read on. I absolutely take requests. I'm totally happy with that. And I'm more than happy to present whatever you would like. So let's get that card view going here. I hope you guys are having a great day. So how is the groundwork for RFK's position here? We're going to take a little peek at the Trump stain, because he has been appointed by Trump, because he was ousted from the Democratic Party. And when you think about it, the Trump administration, we have Elon, we've got RFK Jr., we've got Tulsi Gabbard, we have Trump himself. They're all converts from the Democratic Party. So we're going to see how is the groundwork for his position in this particular appointment, and we'll see if the Trump stain is going to affect him. Pretty sure it is. All right, so how is the groundwork? How is what he is walking in? First day of work, walks in, opens up the filing cabinet. How is that groundwork? Oh, it's a mess. It is not a good scene. A lot of work to be done. A lot of untangling. This is policy. When we talk about administrations, when we talk about political things working in a government, this is really the red tape, the bureaucracy that he has to go through. And they're going to untie a lot of that. Day one. World is completion. So are we rewriting? Well, that's going to be challenging. So I'm trying to rewrite the way that people look at health, fitness, sustainable health. He's trying to really be radical in that sense. So is it radical idea like you have to eat chia seeds 85 times a day? No, but it's really that concept, like the food pyramid and all of those things that they've said, for years. They said drink milk, and then they said here's the food pyramid, and there's like this big chunk of carbs. Now everybody is like, let's not eat carbs, let's just eat protein all day long. I'm still coughing, guys. What's the dominant issue? First day of work. Ooh, 9 of Swords. There's a lot to do here. And his inclination is we need to throw out all of the plans altogether. So very first day of school, September 1st, teacher kind of vibes here. We got to chuck everything out and start all over again. But doing that poses more challenges than not. So again, we've got all this bureaucracy we're trying to untie from, but I think this is habit forming. This is the habits that people have formed over the last 5 decades, 6 decades, with the information that we knew and that has been pumped out to them. So I don't think that this is any kind of conspiracy theory stuff either, guys. I just think it's going to be very challenging for him to change the perspective of people. So how does the Trump stain, does it really stick with him on this? It's going to inhibit. There's going to be a lot of people that are fighting him and coming from a lot of fighting, coming from different directions. What he has to do, and I always talk about Chris Voss. You guys know I love Chris Voss. One of my friends who watches this, we're both Vossians. He really does need to go back to Lincoln Douglas debates. Chris Voss is a former hostage negotiator for the FBI. He now coaches corporate individual salespeople in the art of negotiation. So can't get much better than a hostage negotiator. So here, the same thing that we saw at the State of the Union last week, there are individuals that are going to dig their heels in to prevent this change, preventing him from making the changes here. And I do think that he is not stepping to the table with this radical, we're throwing out the baby in the bathwater kind of thing. I think he is trying to hit some of the big radical changes. So, I can't even imagine like what it is. Like, I think vaccination option is possibly one that he's going to push for. So when my kids were little, the pediatrician that we went to, not vaccinating was really kind of a thing that was going on. And my pediatrician actually had signs up in every single room. If you are refusing vaccinations, we will not treat you at this clinic anymore. I never treated vaccinations like they were anything terrible. I mean, I know my kids were constantly in there. My ex accused me of having Munchausen syndrome by proxy because my son was getting so many vaccinations and going to the doctor all the time. He's like, he's not sick. I'm like, he's not sick. He's getting a vaccination. But anyway, I do think that that is, if that is a topic, vaccination option, that you can or cannot vaccinate, I think that becomes a very big issue that people are not going to let evolve into a more freedom space here. I just don't think that like it's really going to be the back and forth. And I think that that's a good template for everything. Is the Trump stain affecting him? Yes. Just like all of those Democrats that wouldn't stand for that poor little 13-year-old boy who had cancer and is now an honorary member of the FBI. They are not going to hear any of the data, any of the studies. I don't want to say science because we all know listen to the science is a bad phrase. I do think that he is going to have people that just blank him. They're not influenceable. If he did, excuse me, study some Chris Voss, it does work. Don't teach it to your kids like I did. It does work, having some professional technique. And again, Chris Voss, the body language, or not the body language guys, the behavior panel, they all coach people in government, they coach people in business, they coach people in places of power and influence. So, this particular, he may have studied. I mean, the Kennedys are pretty good at it already, but just having like a little bit of some technique added in there. The good news is that the opposition, RFK Jr.'s opposition, is very emotional, and I think that he does have an emotional quality as a person, but I think he will come back with more logical kinds of responses. I think that is going to be a good piece of advice, and we can look at that in the Yellow Brick Road too. So the Trump stain does stick to him a little bit. That was a long roundabout way to get that question. Is there support for him in this position? And how intense is that support? Is there support for him in this position as Secretary of Health? Is there support for him? Ugh. The support for him is usual suspects. It's the ones that are supporting the Trump regime, as some may call it, the regime. He does have support, but I think they're going to keep telling him, Bobby, you're not going to win this one. Bobby, you're not going to win this one. You got to dial it back. You got to dial it back. We're just not going to win it here. So, how enthusiastic will that help be? Intuitively, I'm seeing they're really going to try and politic this, and they're really going to try to get him to slow his roll, but he's pacing with Trump. He's pacing with the president. So not super supportive. Part of the reason is, we're going to be here after this 4 years is up. And so we have to, we got to play nice. We got to politic. We got to make sure that if Republicans don't win the next election, that we didn't do anything wrong. I was on your side. I wasn't going with that crazy no vaccination guy. I don't know if this video is going to get popped because of this, but I keep saying the V word. V word. So I think this bit of politicking is going to be complicated. Let's just see if there's a workaround for that. If he discovers that there's a lot of politicking blocking his policies and the changes that he wants to make, will there be a workaround? Trump is coming in very, very strongly on this one. So is there a workaround? Yes, there's our workaround. He's just going to be just met with resistance everywhere. Somebody's going to be holding up one of those stupid signs like they had at the State of the Union. So he's never going to get bipartisan support because the way some in the Democratic Party see him is a traitor. He was one of the anointed sons. He was one of the heirs to the political throne that we have in the United States of America. He was the last vestige of the Kennedy legacy that we could have seen, in a place of prominence. That is, of course, after JFK Jr. passed away. So there are some that see him as betraying the party. But I'm going to say this, the party is not the same. The party is not the same as it was when JFK was in office. It's very different. So try as he must, he's going to keep meeting these points of resistance. So this moon card up here, things being revealed, revealing things. I think this is the revelation of detriment in terms of health for the citizens of the United States. So I think this becomes a big deal. And this, I think, comes out in the second year of Trump's term. I think it comes out in the second year. So I think this year we spin our wheels in the mud quite a bit. I think next year we get something a little bit more special. Are there any particular elements that RFK Jr. should be cautious about in terms of political personalities? And Adam Schiff is jumping into my head. Now, he's like done, isn't he? Isn't he like off? Or is that me psychically thinking? So I'm getting, is Adam Schiff a problem? I don't even know if Adam Schiff would have anything to do with Adam Schiff. Is that his name? That is his name. Shifty Schiff. I don't know if he would have any workings with this, but he does have a big mouth. He will stymie any attempt to do anything. And I do think that this, if it's not Adam Schiff, it's an Adam Shifty kind of person. Actively trying to sway people that are supporting him. That is something, and this, again, it may not be Adam Schiff, but there is someone who is actively swaying people that are in alignment with, or attempting to sway people that are in alignment with RFK Jr. Does it work? Does it work? In a sense, it does work. We keep getting these same cards over and over again, guys. In a sense, it does work. Why? Because, again, of the politicking, there's going to be a lot of people that don't know what the 2028 election is going to look like. It's too early in this term. Obviously, Trump's not getting another term. I mean, I haven't read on that. Maybe he will. Who knows? But there's no standout on the Democratic Party right now. John Fetterman is somebody who's standing out in I think he deserves a reading. I'm going to put him on the list. I think we need to talk about him. John Fetterman is standing out. He's a standout on the Democratic Party. I don't know who else would run. There's rumors that Kamala wants to run again in 2028. There's rumors that Gavin Newsom wants to run, but I think he said no, he's not going to. Who knows? Justin Trudeau needs a job. Maybe he'll come down and run. So I know he can't, but this campaign of coaching people to go against him seems very, very unfair and very unsportsmanlike here. Not let it purposely trying to get somebody to not do their job, purposely working so that they don't get support. So that's alarming. There was a decided divide between RFK Jr. and his cousin Carolyn Kennedy, daughter of JFK. Her criticism of him in a recorded video, essentially, she was assuming the voice of the Kennedy clan. Other family members have spoken out against him and what they deem his wild and unorthodox ways. Will the Kennedy family en masse attempt to undermine his work as the Secretary of Health? Is the Kennedy clan purposely trying to disrupt what good he could do? And I do want to say that there was someone who said Bobby is not exiled from the family. There is family at his house, Kennedy family at his house. They are visiting. It's not like he's, the Kennedys are over here and he's sitting in a house with Cheryl. So is the Kennedy clan en masse, most of them, attempting to undermine his work? Death card. The Fool, yes. I think this is a dumb move. I think Joe, father of RFK and JFK, I think he would be rolling over in his grave if he knew what was going on. Wow. Yeah. They are going to try and shut him down as much as they can, and they're using his past to vilify him. They are using his wild and wacky ways. So everything that Carolyn said in that video can and will be held against him in a court of law. That is going to be lit up for the Kennedy family. Why are they doing it? Because they are trying to put in a new Kennedy character. I don't know who this would be. I don't think it's any of RFK Jr.'s kids. I think they steer to the rest of the family, which I think is really foolish. He has the name. He looks like a Kennedy. He does look like his dad. So, notwithstanding his poorer choices when he was younger, I think that does give him a wealth of experience and information to do any job. He's not actively addicted to anything. He has, he's in great shape. He's in ridiculously good shape for a guy his age. I do think that this is kind of a shame what we're seeing here, because it is their goal to put in a new person to finish his career, to sever the line, and to plug in a new one. So I don't know if it's Jack Schlossberg. He's kind of a jerk. He made fun of his uncle in a TikTok or on an Instagram story or something. It's Carolyn Kennedy Schlossberg's son. Kind of a jerk. So what is RFK Jr.'s yellow brick road for success? What does he need to know to be successful? Still coughing. There's going to be fighting. Be here for it. Get comfortable with it. Get comfortable with it, because I do think it will eventually end. Like I said, in 2 years, he does not have to be kind about this. He can call out. He does not necessarily have to politic this. So if there are people that are fighting him and constantly getting in the way of his policies, getting in the way of his work, he doesn't have to be kind about it. He can call them out. This isn't 1962. It's not behind the scenes. Like he can say, you are actively preventing me from doing this, and you're actively taking freedoms away from Americans. You're taking away freedoms that are protected under the Constitution. I'm just spitballing here. Psychic spitball. So what else? Ace of Wands, the Hierophant. He does have the backing of the highest seat in the country. So a new beginning will forge here. We'll get a new beginning. I think it's going to be in the second year, going into the second year of this particular administration. So end of 2025, 2026. He has the backing of the president. And there's plenty of workings behind the scenes that he still doesn't know. So what is working behind the scenes? We shall see. We shall see. Very protected information about derailing the health of some. This is derail of the health of some. So I think that that's very interesting. I think he has to be very careful about that. Is he in any danger? That was his Yellow Brick Road rating. Oh, I didn't do the video. Yellow Brick Road. Everybody's loving that, so I'm going to keep using it. If you're sick of it, let me know. I can always make it shorter. It can be like it's a 9-second video. All right, so what was I going to say? Oh, crap. Oh man, I lost the question I was going to ask. It's not on my list. So, what are we going to uncover? What are we going to uncover? Let's see. Something that's derailing the health of the public. Poor judgment. 3 of Pentacles. That's big farm. And we're going to be ending some of that. So, what am I getting for this? I don't think I can talk about this because it's about the, that thing. It's about this thing. The things that go into us. I think he's onto something with that. So, is he in any danger? So, JFK was fascinated. RFK was fascinated. John, JFK Jr. was El Muerto, and we don't know if that was because somebody else wanted the seat that he was going to run for, allegedly for entertainment purposes. There's some rumor about that, or maybe he was just reckless and wild. So, RFK Jr., should we be worried about you? Do we have to be worried? I know it was very interesting when he was campaigning that they would not give him, despite having threats, Joe Biden would not approve security for him, would not approve it. I thought that was a very strange choice there, especially because Joe Biden did have discretion. So, is he in any danger? Making you guys wait for this. 7 of Wands in reverse, imbalance, 6 of Swords, 8 of Swords. That 8 of Swords makes me a little bit nervous because it's almost like we're really trying to not allow fate to happen. This is a struggle to keep things cool, and to keep him safe. This worries me because I do think it's fate. So I do. And again, I like RFK Jr. I'm a little bit worried that some people will try and create some issues for him. And this would be something that would be revealed slowly. But here it looks as if the protections are there. Fire can also be firepower, just let you know. Down here, he is much more protected than I think the uninitiated would know. So for somebody from the outside, I think somebody on the outside would not see the structures that this current administration has put in place for him so that he can maintain some level of safety. Just out of curiosity, is that why Cheryl hasn't been in DC? Was it a security and safety issue? Let's see what I get here. I got 2 cards. I think it was. House wasn't safe enough. We need to keep you on the outside of things. Right now can't protect you. 5 of Wands. This is so. Are they putting the structures in place now? Ace of Wands. Yes. Ultimately, they're going to have the structures for security in place. It's just taking them a little bit of time. Taking a little bit of time. They're just using the intel to strategize their response. It's taking a little bit longer. That was a twist that I did not expect to see. So, neat. So let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of RFK Jr. If you have positive views of him, if you think he's going to be great in this capacity, if you think he's going to be terrible in this capacity. I'm always interested in your comments. I love the comments. I always try and go in and look at all of them. And moving forward, this was a great idea that ChatGPT had for me. If you have questions in the comments, if I can't answer them in my Mixtape Mondays on Monday, I'm going to try and answer as many. Well, I shouldn't say as many. I'm going to try and answer questions in my shorts. So you guys should check out the shorts and see if I answered your question. I'm going to try. The ones that have my face will be the ones with questions. The ones that have the cards on the table will be Teaspoon of Tarot for my tarot students. So yeah, I think that's going to be really fun. But as always, thank you so much for being here. It's my favorite part of the day. You guys are my favorite. So thanks so much. We are growing and growing. Life is good. I will see you guys in the future.